On Christmas night in 1945, an incident occurred in West Virginia, America, that still sends shivers down one's spine when remembered today. A man named George Soder was celebrating Christmas with his wife, Jenny Soder, and their 10 beloved children. Every face was lit with joy, but who could have known that this night was about to transform into a terrible nightmare? A nightmare that remains an unsolved mystery to this day. Around 1 a.m., the house suddenly burst into flames. George and Jenny rushed outside with their 4 children, but the 5 children who were sleeping in the upstairs room vanished forever. Neither were their bones ever found, nor was there any other trace. Did they truly perish in the fire, or were they kidnapped? One must ask, was this fire really an accident, or had it been deliberately set with meticulous planning? Welcome once again, dear viewers. This is not merely a story, but a secret that continues to astonish the world even today. Let us try to understand this unresolved mystery, examining every single aspect. George Soder was a hard-working Italian immigrant who was staunchly opposed to the Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. It was precisely for this reason that he was forced to leave Italy and settle in America. Openly speaking against the Italian dictator could have brought him great trouble, yet he never showed any fear. In America, he ran a training business and fortunately owned his own home. His wife, Jenny Soder, was a dedicated housewife whose duty was to care for their children with love and discipline. On December 20th, 1945, Christmas Day, the Soder children were playing with their new toys. As night fell, the 5 children in the upstairs room went to bed. Around 1 a.m., Jenny detected the smell of smoke in the house. When she went to investigate, she discovered that for some unknown reason, a fire had broken out in the kitchen. George and Jenny exited the house with their 4 children, but the 5 children sleeping upstairs remained inside. George made every possible effort to save them. When George Soder rushed toward the window on the 2nd floor, he saw that the ladder had disappeared from its usual place. He then thought of using his coal truck to reach the window. However, when he turned the ignition on, the truck failed to start. The second truck, too, was not operational. The people present attempted to call the Fat Will Fire Department, but unfortunately, no answer was received. Later, when contact was finally made with the fire chief, the fire brigade arrived only 7 hours after the incident. It appeared to everyone that for some reason, a fire had engulfed the house, causing 5 children to be consumed by the flames. However, as normal as this case seemed in appearance and sound, it was equally intricate. The next morning, when the investigation began, the officials also issued a statement closing the case. They claimed that the children had perished in the fire, but this explanation was beyond anyone's understanding, because human bones, especially those parts containing calcium, including human teeth, cannot turn to ash even at a temperature of 800 degrees Celsius. Not even in a furnace do they reduce to ash. So then, how is it possible that when the Soder house burned, not 1, not 2, but all 5 children left behind neither bones nor even a tooth? Subsequently, forensic investigations confirmed that the duration of the fire was not long enough to reduce the bones to ash. This alarming fact led the Soder family to immediately reject the investigation report. The investigation team had attributed the cause of the fire to a short circuit in the kitchen, but George Soder insisted that he had recently had all new wiring installed. Naturally, one would not suspect that any fault remained in the wiring. As George Soder tried to recall the moments of the incident, he remembered several details that hinted at something amiss. For instance, at the time of the fire, When he picked up the phone to call the fire brigade, he noticed that the phone wire was cut. Later, the investigation confirmed that the Soder home's phone line had indeed been severed from the outside because the edges of the cut phone line appeared different. When a wire breaks naturally, its edges are not smooth. However, when cut with a tool like a pair of pliers, the edges appear very smooth. Later, Jenny Soder recalled that at exactly 12:30 a.m., the house phone rang, and on the other end, a woman was laughing loudly. Jenny then ended the call by saying, "Wrong number." If the phone line had been cut at 1 a.m. and a strange call had been received just half an hour earlier, that would mean the phone line was severed half an hour before the fire broke out. That night was filled with bizarre occurrences. A few minutes before the first phone call and the outbreak of the fire, Jenny had heard something fall on the roof. When nothing further was heard, Jenny turned over and went to sleep, only to later notice the smell of smoke. In addition, the ladder that George had kept was missing at the time of the incident and was later recovered from a field far from the house. Moreover, both of George's trucks, which had been working perfectly just one day earlier, inexplicably malfunctioned during the fire. With all these strange events, George Soder's suspicion turned into certainty that his children had not perished, but had in fact been kidnapped. Yet, in the midst of all that chaos, how could someone have abducted them unnoticed? When the investigation's answers equaled the number of questions, various theories began to emerge. Behind every theory lay a peculiar story. A few months before the incident, an insurance agent had come to George Soder, strongly urging him to take out home insurance. However, when George clearly refused to get insurance, that very agent eventually left after threatening him that he would come to realize its importance when his house caught fire. Could it be that someone used the fire to divert people's attention and at the same time abducted the children? Another theory is that George Soder's open defiance against the Italian dictator had not been well received by the Italian mafia. Consequently, the Italian mafia made him their target and took his children under their control. Some people even claimed to have seen the Soder children in different locations after the fire. One woman said she had seen them in a hotel, accompanied by a strange couple. Other reports suggest that they were seen being taken away in a car, among other accounts. It eventually became confirmed that the Soder children did not die in the fire. So then, where did they go? 1 year after the incident, some new evidence emerged. The investigation team, which had earlier claimed that the cause of the fire was a short circuit, turned out to be wrong. The new investigation revealed that the fire had been deliberately set. At that time, a bus driver passing by reported that he had seen some people throwing something that resembled a fireball. A few months later, when the ice had melted, a round, rubber-like object was found near the house, which was called the pineapple bomb. Jenny recalled the sound she had heard a few minutes before the fire, a sound on the roof caused by something falling. Perhaps it was that very pineapple bomb. George and Jenny devoted their lives to finding answers to this mystery. They left no stone unturned and followed every possible lead. They even erected a large billboard displaying the pictures of their missing children and promising a reward. Nearly 20 years later, in 1966, Jenny received a letter. The letter contained the photograph of a man who closely resembled their son, Louis, and it simply read, "Louis Soder, I love you, brother Frankie." Was this letter really written by one of the 5 missing children, or was it some kind of prank? George and Jenny hired a private detective to investigate the letter, but no trace of Soder was ever found. Year after year passed, yet the mystery remained unsolved. George Soder passed away in 1969. Jenny, along with their surviving children, continued to search for answers about their missing siblings. After George's death, Jenny never left the family home. She had fencing installed around the house and built new rooms. For the rest of her life, she wore black clothes, forever burdened by sorrow. In 1989, after Jenny's death, the family finally took down the old worn-out billboard that had been erected in memory of the missing children. Were the Soder children the victims of a tragedy, or were they part of a larger conspiracy? This is a secret that may perhaps never be solved. We hope that you will generously like and share this video. Thank you very much for your heartfelt comments